Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is now just 97 days away from its official release by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, as well as creator George Lucas. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is going to hold many different connections to the prequels and the originals, as well as borrowing elements from Star Wars Legends. That's all sitting ready to tell a very unique and original story by Abrams and George. Now, what's really great about Episode 9 is that this movie's going to have a lot of nostalgia thrown into it, while also playing, many different tones of the film that are actually said to be borrowed from the expanded universe. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this movie, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, as well as one of the big plans by Disney, Lucasfilm, JJ, and George, this is where things begin to get very intense for Episode 9. Now, specifically, it's described that one of the big plans during reshoots for the film by J.J. Abrams and George Lucas is said to adjust a scene in the second act of the film that is said to center on the character of Anakin Skywalker, portrayed by Hayden Christensen. It's explained that one of the scenes that are being adjusted is said to take place in the Lost City, where it's said to involve Daisy Ridley as Rey inside of the Crystal Cave, where she is meditating with the Skywalker lightsaber, where all the pieces are floating in mid-air. It's described that this is where they actually plan to insert Hayden Christensen to appear in the background as Rey meditates, as a Force Ghost version of Anakin stands behind her. However, with a hood over his head that is said to lure Rey into the Land of Warriors. The sequence is said to lead to a moment in which Rey witnesses the character of Anakin Skywalker turning around as a younger version of himself, as seen in Episode 6, where as his head turns and looks back at Rey, his face begins to age to his older self as if he's in his older 70s, where he begins to walk toward Rey, telling her a passage of the first Skywalker. As Anakin delivers the line of the first Skywalker, it's said that Anakin points to his right that leads to a Jedi structure where he begins to vanish, where Rey is now on her own to examine the ancient Jedi ruins. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, what's so great about Episode 9 is that this movie really is going to tell a very unique story when it comes to the Jedi, the Sith, and the Force. So that's something that should have been told in The Last Jedi, to be honest, but now in Episode 9, since it will be heavy on Jedi, Sith, and Force lore in order to benefit the characters of Rey and Kylo, I think that this is going to be a very strong movie for that reason alone. And I want to go over the reshoots that are happening right now. One of the big plans is to have Hayden Christensen pretty much, in this scene that's going to be adjusted by JJ and George, where the actual aging process of Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost is going to be seen as a transition. So I think that this is JJ's way of showing that the Force Ghosts are able to do many different things through the netherworld of the Force by changing their very own appearance, which could also explain as to, what's going to go on with the future and what they want to do with new canon material that takes place after Episode 9, because they are prepping their new expanded universe in 2020 that's going to tell the stories after the events of Episode 9 about the character of Rey and whoever else lives on. So, with that being said, this movie does have a lot going for it. I think a lot of fans are very curious about the reshoots that are happening right now. It's a big deal. A lot of people are very much wondering about what's going on with all of this. Now, this particular scene is said to involve the Lost City, where Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost is able to lure Rey to the very center of the Lost City that actually leads to the Jedi ruins, where as this all unfolds, the Anakin Force Ghost is actually said to deliver a line of dialogue related to the first Skywalker, a passage of the first Skywalker, which could also play a role into, of course, one of the meanings of the official title of Episode 9. I don't know if you guys knew this, but J.J. Abrams actually stated that there are over 3 different meanings of the Rise of Skywalker's title. So that could have something to do with Ben Solo being the new Skywalker, obviously by name, of choice, or maybe it has something to do with other characters. But most certainly we do know that this movie is going to explore the origins of the Skywalker bloodline and the origins of the name and where it all came about. And that's exactly what we will also be learning within the Lost City, thanks to, of course, the character of Rey discovering all of these different artifacts and relics, as well as the Jedi ruins. Now, Hayden Christensen, like I say, it seems like a very interesting scene that involves Anakin Skywalker pretty much starting off as young as he looked in Episode 6 as a Force ghost, to where he eventually ages in the process as he turns around and looks at Rey, points to his right, and vanishes. Very intriguing scene, I gotta say. I mean, what they're trying to do with this movie is that they're really trying to insert a lot of the Jedi, Sith, and Force lore that's going to be used as a way to really evolve these characters as Rey and Kylo Ren from start to finish of the plot of this movie, to just really gain more knowledge about the dark and the light sides of the Force, and to show that they are the ultimate hero and or villain of the movie. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Gun in hand, we are alone again. From night to moon.